looking at this last 8 games, starting with Cleveland, what things do you feel like you guys have made progress in? We have road trips that can help you guys moving forward.
I think we had some good response games after some tough losses. We see what happens when we play the right way, and we see what happens when we play the wrong way.
Is that when you mentioned the right way, what's for you guys the right way?
I'm always going to say communication and defending.
Are you viewing this stretch, obviously hardest stretch, final stretch than any other team heading into the playoffs? Are you viewing it as a positive because you're going up against some playoff teams to get you guys primed for the playoffs, or how are you viewing it?
I feel like it's the only way to view it. It's already turning our gears and getting our mindset to, playoff standards and playoff level.
And coming off of, another 50-point game over the Pelicans, Kevin Durant was talking about just how he saw you when you get into your scoring stretches, that you get into this Zen mode, that nothing else matters. How do you describe when you're in kind of those scoring stretches?
I think everyone has tried to, find the words of being in the zone. And it's just more of a feeling than you can put the words. You score in bunches and, you're not, like you say, you're not worried about anything else except the objective at hand. So I wasn't worried about getting to certain numbers, just worried about winning.
Devin, you talked about the fourth quarter. You don't want to put yourself in that kind of situation again. If you just had to summarize what's been that issue or issues all season with the fourth quarter, what would you narrow it down to?
I think our pace slows down, which I think it comes from a good place. I think it comes from trying to value every possession and get the best available shot every time down. But, if you look at our first quarters, our first halves, we're playing with constant pace and constant speed, and just realizing that's what works for us. And even at the end of the game, usually your best available shot is the first or second pass.
But when you focus on communication, what are some of the examples of when it's going well, and what are some of the examples that need to pick up when it's lacking?
Transition defense. I think we had a habit of running to our matchup too much instead of just forming a shell, because we switch most actions anyway. So, I think, like I said, the intention's there. We're trying to play the right way. It's just, when you talk, communication trumps everything else.
It's organization, right? That's basically.
Yeah.
When you and Brad are balancing bringing the ball up, how has that gone for the two of you over the course of the season? I know injuries have gotten in the way a little bit, but just the balance for both of you to remain in rhythm through it.
I think it's been fine. Whoever the point of attack is, I think KD was at some last game. It just comes with our defense. If we're defending and getting steals or deflections or running out on defensive rebounds, like in my opinion, it doesn't really matter who brings it. It's just the spacing around them. I think everybody else has to run, and us typically we're so used to having the ball in our hands that we gravitate towards the ball when sometimes the spacing is getting away from it.
So wanting to get threes up, your guys' record this year has been really good when you're getting threes up. What have you seen the last couple of games that has allowed you guys to hit 40 plus and get it out there?
Those spacings, playing in spread pick and roll, and just using our talent and our firepower to create shots for other people.
Look, how would you assess your defense this year? Statistically it's down in some areas, but I know you've had to take on a lot offensively.
Yeah, I've always said defense is, it's 5 guys. You go with a game plan, and, a spectator can't ever really tell, who's playing good defense and who's not, because no one knows the game plan. So, every team has a different game plan, and, you never know what that is.
Dropping your new shoe, can you talk about it?
Yeah. People seen them. They're around. They just come out in 2 days.
Can you describe them?
These are the Havens. These are the Havens. My only inspiration. A man's best friend. Now, just through the process, Nike was like, we want to have an all-black shoe that tends to do well. going to the market, going to retail, and I immediately thought about my all-black dog.
Is he keeping his ego in check with all this attention?
I don't know. He has something else special coming too at the start of next month. That's all I can tell you, but he's going global. You'll see. I pay attention closely. It's kind of hard though, man. At this time of year, I think everybody will watch the other matchups. There's too much if this happens and that happens. So, I think we're at our best if we just worry about ourselves and the task at hand, and you'll drive yourself crazy worrying about everybody else. Well, it's important to just win games and play the right way, and try to avoid the play-in.
When you're trying to navigate between being a scorer and a playmaker, I know it's always been about making the right play. How does your thought process work when you're getting hit with those jump defenses and double teams to try and shake things up?
I'm always a believer in, if there's two on the ball, get off it, play advantage basketball on the backside, especially when you have Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal, Grayson Allen, and Nurkic on the backside. So, I keep talking about the spacing. I think none of us are used to, having somebody else being doubled on the floor. So finding that spacing out of it should lead into an open shot or a layup every time.
You've done this in the playoffs before, but how nice was it to finally get that 7 threes?
Oh, yeah. Shit, finally. Yeah. Felt good.
These next 2 games, you got guys like Jared Allen, you got Rudy Gobert and Naz Reid, of course, on Friday. How important is it to get into the paint, obviously for you getting shot going, but to get inside in the paint and establish that presence and attacking those guys?
I think you have to space those guys out a bit. They're great at, defending the paint. So, if you can get in the paint and cause them to rotate, I think it opens up things on the backside for us.
IT got his second 10-day contract here. What kind of impact is he having day in and day out?
The ultimate teammate, ultimate professional, just ultimate hooper. Somebody that in the past I've always had a lot of respect for, but I never got to develop a relationship like we are now. And, I don't take it for granted. I have a high respect for him, and I've obviously played against him and, know what he's capable of.
We saw him in your ear almost immediately. How quick did that trust establish between the two of you?
It's just the hooper mindset, and that's where the natural respect comes from. And like I said, I've been on the other side of that, so I need to take some tips from him.
He said he wants you guys. Is there anything you do after a game, win or lose, play well, play poorly, to kind of get it out of your system to reset going into the next day?
Call of Duty.
Has that changed throughout your career?
No, not my life. Not just my career, my life.
How late the night are you going?
Depends on the game. More intense the game, the later I stay up.
The hotter you get.
Exactly.
You got 20 plus here.
Yeah. Keep going. Can't end on on a win, so.
Play till you lose is a dangerous proposition, we all know that.
Yeah. I think the 7th or 8th spot.
We talked about kind of coming together.
I know what you're saying. No, we're in a great spot, man. But it's so up and down. Just trying to avoid the up and down this time of year. If any team loses, you see it with all fan bases. It's the end of the world. You might be in the play-in. If you win one, you have a chance to get into the 3 or 4 seed. So just taking it one game at a time.
Frank's talked about IT and his leadership and his voice. The bench is really picking up on that.
Yeah.
How have you seen that?
He's right there every time. He's a 6th man defensively and offensively. You can hear him, right there, communicating, letting you know in the timeout what he sees, what he thinks you can do better. And like I said, I'm open ears to him the whole time.
Thank you.